on in the David case, and it's a little bit tragic, okay? One, the body was actually released to the family, but also the police have actually made it known that they are questioning Celeste's family. And all I gotta say is, not the police focusing on the family instead of focusing on what everybody on the internet is calling a predator, and what lots of video proved to be a predator. You guys, let's get into this. Again, you're focusing on the family, but not the predator boyfriend. Can y'all listen? Something is a little bit odd in Celeste Rivas' family. I'll just say it. The neighborhood where her family lived, and the house she grew up with prior to running away with allegedly David, there was a visual. The family didn't show, okay? That's odd. The brother said, we know for a fact she was with David. The sister said, no, we don't know where she was, and give a GoFundMe. It is odd. The fact that the mother didn't seem to really report her seriously missing. She was gone for over a year when she was 13, before they reported her missing last year when she was 14. A lot of things don't add up. Again, I would imagine that a 13-year-old being seduced by a predator and running away, I would imagine that people don't usually run away from very, very happy homes. You know, no matter how much everybody tries to fake the funk, there's something going on there, some type of need not being left, as something that a predator saw and exploited. So nobody's claiming she came from like the Cosby Show, but how's the family involved? And all the scrutiny when she was found in David's trunk of his Tesla that was parked in front of the $20,000 a month rental that, by the way, he just abruptly fled. How is the family involved where he's making songs called romantic homicide and confessing in songs? I just can't, again, I'm not saying the family wasn't dysfunctional, and I'm not saying the family was toxic, and I could be wrong about this. Maybe the family was the second coming of the Cosby Show, but can you again explain to me what the family has to do with? Okay, but let's get into this, because yeah, this is weird to me. Okay, first of all, let's talk about the fact that tragically her body was released. The family does have a GoFundMe up, run by the sister. The sister's saying they just want to lay her to rest. She said she didn't know where they were, and they didn't know that she was dating David, but the brother has come out and said, no, we did know where she was. I tend to believe the brother, just because before we even knew who was in that trunk, and they said that before we even knew who was in the trunk, or that there was somebody in the trunk, there were people all over Reddit forums and in David's comments talking to him about Celeste, about this, about that, saying she'd been missing, praying to God they hope it's not her. Okay, now let's get into this, all right? TMZ says that Celeste's body was released to the family. They said the body of the girl found in singer David's car has been released to the family. The family can now claim her remains. That means that an autopsy must have been done, which means that they are moving closer to an arrest. I still don't understand a world where somebody is found in the front trunk of a Tesla. And I keep saying this, if you've never had a Tesla or been around a Tesla, the front trunk is not like the back trunk where you just press a button and it pops open. The front trunk, you need a special key and code to get in there, because I think the generator, battery, whatever it is, electric car is there. You need a special code, a special key to get in there. On top of that, there are cameras all over the Tesla. And the car is registered in his name. Okay? Her death is under investigation after cops found her decomposing and blanked up body inside the Tesla, which was impounded in a Hollywood tow yard. It was found early this month, the day before her 15th birthday, and authorities said it appears that she had been decomposing for a while. She'd been reporting missing last year, and our law enforcement sources told us she ran away multiple times because of trouble at home. Her middle school teacher said that she ran away back in January 2024. The teacher says the police found her in the Hollywood Hills a month later and took her home. So they found her in the Hollywood Hills. David's house is in the Hollywood Hills. Celeste wasn't even old enough to get a work permit in the state of California. So, like, what are we doing? Circumstantial evidence enough would be enough. And let's just say he says something crazy like, oh my God, she fell and slipped on some soap. Okay, I think it's still illegal to desecrate a body. I just would assume, right? I mean, America's going crazy right now, but I assume those laws are still the same. Again, David lives in the Hollywood Hills. The cops got a search warrant to search his home, and the police were looking for blood evidence. This has been confirmed. Before cops were able to identify Celeste's body, they got a tip that she was the victim found in David's car. Again, the police are like, oh, she has an unclear relationship with David. The whole school knew. Well, not the whole school, but a lot of the little kids that went to school with Celeste knew she was dating David, because after she ran away at 13 years old or 13 years old, she still kept in touch with people from the school for a year, telling them like, yeah, I'm with my man, I'm with this, I'm with that. So there was evidence linking them in a romantic relationship. Of course, this girl had a troubled home. Why else would a 13-year-old run away from a loving home to be with somebody? And again, if it is true that he did it, and I do strongly believe it is based on the evidence, the odds that he wasn't abusive, nobody goes from 0 to 100 real quick. Not after you've been seeing them, talking to them as friends since you were like 10 or 11 years old. So, I mean, that's when they started with they linked up in the Fortnite chat group, and then they took it offline. She was going to movies with them. She was this. I don't believe people that would commit romantic homicide, I don't think that you live in a violence-free situation. I think that the violence leaks out in different ways, the jealousy, the possessiveness, until finally it just overflows. Anyway, we got in touch with Celeste's mother, who told us her daughter had a red tattoo on her right index finger. The mom also told us her daughter was dating a guy named David. Police have not revealed if they have a suspect. I think at this point, the only question we have to ask is, did he have an accomplice? Did he have an accomplice? If he didn't do something to Celeste, he has to know who did. Who was driving your Tesla? The Tesla was not reported stolen, and it was parked in front of your Hollywood Hills home. So what is going on? Now, just to let you guys know, there has been new photos that surfaced of on August 24th, a girl that looks like Celeste up in the stands, the balcony, watching David's concert with what looks like maybe his manager or a friend or whatever. She looks like she's part of the entourage. However, when I look at those pictures, that girl does not look, I'm not sure that Celeste, it seems like there are two Celeste. One Celeste was the little girl. The other Celeste was in his music video, had been taken around, and did all this stuff. Just hear me out, and I'll expand this in a different video, okay? Because I don't want to hold you to it. There's so much going on. But just hear me out. If you are psychotic enough to murk someone, and you're psychotic enough to murk someone because maybe you decide they're a bad look or whatever it is, and you have her in the music video, and you're making all these songs about her, and everybody knows that you were dating, and there's all these videos and live streams with her, is it really that far-fetched, one step away to think that there is that second Celeste that I believe starred in the video that was around 23 years old, and you started getting girls that look like Celeste to come to your shows as a decoy? Now, you can say maybe he was obsessed, maybe that was his type, maybe like when he sees girls that look, he was just like, oh yeah, but what if he really is some crazy psychopath that was getting decoys in order to make people think that the girl that everybody had been seeing him around with for the last 2 years is still around? I don't know. I just know that body being found in the Tesla, I don't think that was part of the plan, and I think everything's falling apart. Anyway, I'm going to expand this in the next video, but I wanted to put it out there. So I wanted to put it out there, but then again, I have to ask why, and let's get into this. Why it seems like the police are focusing more on Celeste's family than actually finding Celeste. Like, they could have been horrible people. Why are you not out there finding the suspect? Did we find her in the family's car? No, we did not. Anyway, they said that they've been trying to, they're tracking her history and they're trying to piece together the story of her life. We're told Lake Els and her family contacted Riverside County law enforcement at least twice to report Celeste missing. Our sources say homicide detectives believe there's lots of evidence Celeste comes from a troubled home and that may have triggered her desire to run away. Again, why are we focusing on I get it. But are we going to explain why the police never made an arrest? Why they never investigated? Why they just said, oh, well? Are we going to talk about the person? Have they talked to the person who they found her in his Tesla? I'm still waiting. TMZ spoke to a liquor store owner near where Celeste's school bus picked her up, and he says there was one instance on March 19, 2024, where Celeste's sister came to a store to review surveillance footage in an attempt to trace Celeste's steps after she ran away. As we reported, her middle school teacher said Celeste had run away back in January. The teacher says police found her in the Hollywood Hills home a month later, took her home. It's worth noting David lives in a Hollywood home, as we said. It's unclear. What's unclear is if the family called the cops in Hollywood when Celeste disappeared in spring to find out where she had been staying, where they found her in February. Again, this is really weird. Does David have some type of connections? It's the record agency helping? I'm confused at where you're going with this. I really am confused with the police investigation. And even to the fact of it was a troubled home, and I admit it might be, but predators look for those cracks in a troubled home. Like, that's like saying, oh, if you had just loved her better, this wouldn't have happened to her. Maybe or maybe not, but he just would have gone to somebody else's home. Like, do you get the issue? Do you get what the problem is? LAPD, the predator is the problem. Because they're going to look for somebody to prey on. You see what I'm saying? Like, yes, there might have been cracks, but the predator looks for those cracks so they can exploit her. There was a 13-year-old being manipulated by a grown MFing man that every time her mom told her no, every time her mom told her she couldn't stay up late and eat ice cream because she had to go to school, every time her mom even maybe said, I wish I never had you. I don't know if her mom said that, but I'm just saying the lowest of the low a mom can say. He was right there to raise her, guide her, abuse her, get into her mind, groom her, if you will. So, I mean, where are the police going with this? Like, are you saying she acts to be murked? I'm very, very confused. There are troubled teens everywhere you go. You deserve. Do y'all see what I'm saying? Again, I'm confused. Was she found in the family's car? Was she found parked in front of the family's house? Oh no, that's David. So why are we focused on the family? You want my opinion from this? I truly do think that the police realized that for whatever reason, they should have taken her disappearances seriously. And when they called the police 2 times, the police didn't bother to look for her. The police were like, oh, who cares? She's just a runaway. And the police just let it go. Now, did David play off the police? Is there something? Are the police more at fault? But I think the police are trying to put blame on the family to take up the fact that they didn't do their job. That's what they're around for. That's what we're paying our tax dollars for. But anyway, you guys, listen, I'll cover this in another video. Let me know what you think about this. This is very, very odd, very, very disturbing. But in this case, everything is odd. Everything is disturbing. We are going to be covering this case from the beginning, middle, and even up to trial, unless David does a Brian Kruger and confesses. Anyway, you guys, let me know what you think in the comments. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.